Hi everyone, it's Eddie here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm showing you how I use airbrush medium and sometimes a little bit of water to make my paints a little bit more fluid. And also the airbrush medium gives the prints a really unique finish on the surface. So I like to use a separate palette to do this. Otherwise you get streaks on the gel plate. Um, so I'm just using a brush and I'm mixing um, that is the phthalo blue paint with an addition of a little bit of water, the airbrush medium and a little bit of the water. I want it nice and fluid for what I'm going to do next on the gel plate. And I didn't intend to mix this much paint, but you know, it got us a few prints. So there we go. What I wanted to do was use this brush and apply the paint in you know in varying strokes, but over and over and over to try and achieve unique marks. And with it being so fluid, it's obviously constantly moving, but I think that's going to help with creating those interesting markings once it's all dry. Now I like how that looks, but it still has to dry completely. This is still pretty wet. It actually took maybe 5 hours for it to dry. Um, so now I'm gonna do another one. And I thought maybe this one I could do, use the brush in a different way, do markings in a different way than the first one um, to hopefully get, a different pattern. And I think I did that. We'll see at the end, but that's basically what I did with what I'm doing here is just changing up the brush strokes to try and create a different um, set of marks, if you will. Okay, those plates are now dry, and I'm going to add my next layer, and I'm using this golden fluid acrylic iridescent gold. And I'm using it with this really cool stencil by my friend and fellow designer Rhonda Dohna. It's called the Swish Splash Flora. Beautiful stencil, great design. And I'm going to add the paint right over it. So I leave the positive side of the design on the plate. And this will be one layer or the second layer before I add the pull layer. And for the next one, I'm doing the same thing and just using more of that iridescent paint mix. Now, I did mix in, I put it in the little caption there, but I did mix in uh, airbrush medium into the bottle there off camera, so it is mixed up. Basically, I'm running out of that, and so and it's not cheap stuff, so I added some airbrush medium to get anything that's like clinging to the sides and the bottom. That looks great. So, and those markings are great too. Now for the next one, I did this one off the camera. I had a lot of paint left over. So I had did this one off camera, and for this one, I'm going to use my stencil Distress Crosses, and it's style number 2. Um, and here I use a pipette to add the paint into the bottle. It makes it a lot easier instead of trying to use the spout that the bottle comes with because it gets everywhere. And for this one, I'm using the interference in the golden fluid acrylic. It's a green-orange interference that I really like, but again, I'm running out. Oops. That is the bit of plastic seal that I never got off completely, I guess. So gotta yank it off there. But this is it's a subtle um, color, but it adds a really nice quality to the final print. Now, to pull this print, what I'm going to use is these three paints. It's the Lucas Krill in Mint and the Folk Art in Buttercup and Dutch Aqua. And they're all medium body, I guess, to soft body paints, and they're opaque. So they're going to be a great um, background for the design on the very top layer, and then the crosses in the interference paint. And for most of these prints, I'm using this Yasutomo sketch paper, which is great. It has two sides, be aware. One's rough, one's smooth. I always print on the smooth side. The prints come off beautifully off the plate. And for this one, yeah, I'd use two different oranges, but they're different enough. I said, yeah, why not? Don't ask me why. I just decided to do it. But I'm glad I did. These two, one is the Hippie Crafter Orange Yellow, and it's a thicker, richer paint. And then the Folk Art one is not as dark, and it's a little bit looser. Um, and I just wanted to try out the combo together, see how that worked. I mean, it's a beautiful shade of orange, I think. Works really well. Now for this last print, I'm going to mix up a color using Prussian blue and titanium white. And also I'm going to add a little bit of teal just to, mm, I don't know what the word is. It just gives it a little something extra, plus a little bit of sheen from the metallic. It's a teal metallic paint from Folk Art. Is that right? That's not right. Let me give you the right info. It is by Deco Art, their Dazzling Metallics line. Just a little squeeze of those. And these are really inexpensive paints, and they're wonderful. The Deco Art and the Folk Art Metallics. Um, they are, they're great. Like the Folk Art does the color shift paints. Um, those aren't as inexpensive as the Deco Art Metallics, but they do a different thing. It's a different kind of creature, but both in the metallic world. So again, I mixed up a lot of paint, but after I do this print and put down the paper, I will use that stuff left on the paint left on the brayer to pull another print. All right, so I have this small 5x7 plate with stuff on it because I use it as a palette. And so I'm just adding the rest of the paint on that brayer to the plate. And then so I can pull what's on the plate, and I'm using the Hammermill 32-pound color copy paper to do that with. And some of these palette prints turn out to be fantastic. Yep, I got to use it all. I got more paint left, so I had these leftovers on this large gel plate from my last video, and this is the Black Eyed Susan flower stencil by Christy Hartman that was on there. And so I just used the rest of this blue mix plus some of the buttercup from Folk Art to pull that as well. And I believe I pulled it with yeah, the Yasutomo sketch paper as well. All right, time to pull the prints. And I always rub the edges to make sure nothing is sticking, everything pulls off well. And so far, so good. This looks amazing. These dried for several hours, at least 2 hours. I just wanted to make sure everything came up nice and clean, which it did. Look at that. Fantastic. The marks on it are just, they're great and they're unique. They're not going to happen again. And that's what I love about making marks like that on the gel plate. And the next one, again, smoosh the edges down a little bit so you make sure you release them. And you see I'm taking my time because sometimes it does get stuck on the edges, and instead of pulling too hard and ripping the paper and damaging your print, take the time and just press the edges down a little bit and get that up. Wow, this one turned out spectacular. And the marks are a lot different, right? But still unique. Love that. That's going in my save it stash. Now for the next one, this was on the 9 by 12 plate. And this was, again, the Yasutomo paper. And this is the one I did the ombre on with the three opaque paints. Now my plates have all been conditioned recently, so um, there really should be no reason for anything sticking. Oh, beautiful. I love the X's. It's subtle, but it's there. Crosses. Very nice. All right, time for the last one. And the last one was that one I did on the plate with the leftovers from the last video. So it's kind of like a bonus print. And in the photos I show you at the end, I'll show you the print that I pulled from the 5 by 7 plate. Beautiful. Look at that. I love that. That is spectacular. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a wonderful day. Bye.